Hello everyone, good afternoon, and welcome back to ESSA, where it is some quarterfinals action coming your way after a brief intermission following a loser's bracket match. Sorry, we're getting our bearings here, but it is going to be Chicony versus Zylice in the winner's bracket quarterfinals. I'm T1G. Joining me is iFlame for what I think is going to be a pretty interesting matchup here between two very, very strong players.
I think so. This is going to be, or has been, one of the most anticipated matchups this weekend. Zylice and Chicony, of course, two of the best speed players in the game currently. And I don't know how much you watched last week, but Chicony has been on an absolute tear, getting the top individual placement, top scored, I think, 5 or 6 different maps last week. Played incredibly well up against Rafis there, winning that 6-4. Rafis had an incredible performance as well. So Zylice has a tough task ahead of him, but we know he can compete on pools like these. He's an incredibly fast player, and unlike last week, I feel like this pool has a lot more raw speed in the pool.
Yeah, a lot of raw speed, a lot of stamina. In a bunch of these picks, there are a couple of, kind of tech speed. Your S5 and S6 are a little more, lean a little more into that sort of techie aspect of things, but a lot of the rest of the maps, definitely tons of raw speed and stamina. I mean, it ramps all the way up to 360 BPM on S8 Nostalgic Blood of the Strife. So you've got some pure speed to contend with in this pool, which honestly, I think works out pretty well for both of these guys. I feel that, matchup-wise, Chicony, Zylice, in terms of what they're good at in speed, there is a decent amount of overlap.
Yeah, I would think so. It doesn't feel like there's quite as much slider tech in this pool either, which I don't think necessarily plays into either of these players' skill sets. So it shouldn't make too much difference. Because of the overlapping skill sets like you mentioned, I think we could see a lot of contested picks, potentially a lot of breakpoints, even very early on in this match. It could be a very interesting one.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see, kind of what we get out of our protects, our bans. Kind of see, how these players want to approach this match, because there's a decent amount, as you would kind of just anticipate, there's a decent amount of overlap in skill set in the pool itself, because it's all speed, so you're going to have, the overlap between different maps that are available. But, like I said, stuff like the S5, S6, also very interested to see if we get, like, S10, for instance, right? That is a brutal ult with a bunch of 1/6 and kind of, just this continuous high-velocity ult patterns. And then something like S14, the SHK KT Easter, where it's this old style grid snap linear aim. Like, there's a couple of off the wall sorts of picks that I'm interested to see if we get in this one as well.
Yeah, and those are the kinds of picks I'm wondering if we may actually see a couple of those banned out, notably the S10 pick that you mentioned, that is pretty rhythmic. We do see S11, the first protect, which is just a pretty kind of heavy stamina map with some very dense bursts, but there's quite a bit of aim. It's one of the heavier aim maps in the pool, but there isn't too much. Interestingly, Chicony opted to take the first protect and first ban. It's not something we see too often. Usually players prefer to go for second ban and second protect.
Yeah, the S12 protects with the Yosei Teikoku. That is super finger control. So maybe Chicony wanting to opt into, the kind of finger control-y aspects of this pool. does ban out S9, which is just OD 10.4, CS 5.4, infinite stamina at 236 BPM. Like, that map just does not stop for a very, very long time. So that will be removed. Doesn't want to have to contend with that. And S3, I should be noting these down on my end here. S3, so that's the Dementori. I was looking at that one, and like, it's Nomad 1 for a speed tournament.
It basically is. Like, it's almost a consistency pick. It gets there for like almost the entire map, and then the ending of the map just goes crazy for no reason.
The S3 band, we have S8 band for Zylice, so that's Nostalgic Blood of the Stripe, so that's that aforementioned super high 360 BPM pick.
So it seems like Zylice banning out some of the kind of more high BPM streamier kind of picks, and S7 going to be the first pick for Chicony. This is going to be a little bit more aim focused, quite a bit of aim control in this map. Some very dense but awkward streams as well, so not necessarily comfortable to aim and easy to draw a lot of accuracy on.
And this is one that, of course, was an OWC. This was like, I don't remember, was it Grand Finals, I think? Free mod speed slot, whatever they're using as the free mod speed slot these days. So, I believe, who did we see just go crazy on this? I want to say like Karcher went absolutely nuts on this. Unless my memory is leaving me on that.
You could be right. It seems like his kind of map. It is one of the 2 Hard Rock picks in the pool as well, which makes a lot of sense for Chicony. I think traditionally we've seen Zylice be much more comfortable on the hidden picks, but is quite solid on the Hard Rocks as well. As early on, we do see Zylice dropping about 2% accuracy, where Chicony still holding on to a solid 99, but still lots of map to go.
Yeah, this is, I think, a very standard sort of chemo like speed pick or speed map, where, you know, he often opts to map a lot of bursts and then maybe some longer streams later on, like we see in this one. So it is a relatively player friendly for you know, players who are like solid at the Nomad 5s. Just tossing Hard Rock on this doesn't make it a huge amount more difficult. Obviously ups the accuracy just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And as for now, 1% act lead for Chicony. Looking pretty solid through the first third.
Yeah, Chicony has found a miss and a few more 100s, so bringing things a little bit closer, but Zylice still has a lot of work to do to catch up here. Has been dropping quite a few 100s of his own, especially on that section. Gonna continue to put Chicony in the lead here, but as we get into some of the trickier streams, we see a miss and multiple 50s from Zylice. That's going to hurt a lot, but Chicony trades back the accuracy drops. Both players dropping tons of accuracy on these patterns. Oh, that's a massive drop from Zylice, and he's going to need a lot from Chicony to make the comeback here.
Yeah, Zylice just dropped about a 1.5% accuracy in that last section. A couple of bad sequences of 100s. Really not helping his case here, and it's nearly a 2% lead at this point for Chicony. Still a third of the map to go, which includes some of these longer streams in that last section of the map, so it's not over yet, but that lead is going to feel pretty solid for Chicony at this point.
Yeah, keep in mind with the Hard Rock, this is OD9, or this is OD10. So pretty tricky to act just in terms of OD. And then of course you have the speed element as well. So this is very impressive accuracy from Chicony, but we'll see if he can hold on through this last stream section. I think the accuracy difference is big enough that it's going to be inconsequential. And with that massive drop from Zylice, that is going to be 0.1 for Chicony, continuing his fantastic form from round of 16.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, these are going to be it's going to actually be Zylice winning in score. So despite everything else, Zylice did end up winning by 1,000 points of score, but the 0.8% accuracy lead for Chicony, holding on 12 fewer 100s and 4 fewer 50s sees to that. So well done to Chicony getting the first pick, but pretty close, all things considered. It's almost, I mean, 1K score gap is pretty crazy.
It is, yeah. It would have been a very close match had we been scoring it the normal way, but this is an ACT Players Tournament, and it is Zylice who has the next pick. And is that an S1 pick I'm seeing?
It does appear to be. Hopefully we get our chat fixed here, but it looks like, yep, it is going to be an S1, and we're going to go right into this. Holy cow, that was quick. This is Senya DT.
Rough.
This is Senya DT. So it is, it's stamina. It's 248 BPM, and it's just light flow stamina.
Yeah,
Well, Senya DT, but it's not DT, it's just sped up.
Yep, burst and more bursts, as we'll see very shortly. Like we said, very much a stamina test, so we're very likely to see more accuracy drops towards the end of the map as the players start to run out of stamina. But if there's any players that could play a stamina pick like this one and have the stamina to get through the whole thing, it would be these, but Chicony actually dropping a ton of 100s on that first stream. Going to give Zylice a very solid early lead, but should be able to recover. It's more 100s from Chicony actually, so not having a great time with this map so far, but plenty of time to recover as we get later into the map and we start seeing the real stamina tests come in.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of the same here for a while as we kind of build into the map, and you do see Chicony starting to recover the accuracy a bit, and then as I say that, he drops a bunch more. Couple percent now. Zylice showing what he is capable of on these sort of flow stamina streams, whereas Chicony struggling to keep the accuracy where it needs to be. Obviously keeping the combo up, but really, I mean, that's more or less irrelevant as we've discussed in the past in this tournament. All just about how high you can keep the AC, and for Zylice, that number is quite high indeed at 99.5 still, third of the way through, 830 combo in.
Yeah, finally dropped the SS, but that is incredible accuracy so far. Chicony down at 97, which is generally a pretty solid act, but against a player like Zylice, you just can't afford it. And at this point, even though there is half of the map to go, with Zylice's current form, it's going to take a lot from Chicony here. It's going to need to find good consistency into the second half of this map, but it is that second half where the stamina will start to become a bit more of a factor, and I expect both players are going to find some big misses. There goes Chicony getting about 7 or 8 100s on that burst.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Zylice is just hanging strong over there, only has dropped a few 100s, still at the 99.3. Not looking to give up that stamina anytime soon. Very comfortable at this BPM, clearly. And that lead is solid, though there are several misses, and the combo is gone. The accuracy drops down about 0.5% for Zylice, so that's the door perhaps a little open for Chicony. He's got to keep that AC up and hope for more of the same from Zylice, but Zylice proves mortal at this juncture 2/3 of the way through. We'll see if Chicony can pounce on it.
Yeah, Chicony can keep the accuracy up at a similar level. All it takes is one more of those kind of chain misses. I think that's a Boncho miss on
yeah, it's
screen.
Boncho from the reload,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. And a quarter of the map to go. There are some very tricky patterns into this ending. We'll see if Zylice can hold on to this 1% accuracy lead. All it takes is one big drop. 100s, mistiming any burst could spell the end. We've seen it happen before many times in this tournament. And here we go into the ending. Neither player finding big drops so far. Zylice with a couple 100s, but it's not going to be quite enough. We need to see more drops from Zylice, but not finding them. Both these players are so incredibly consistent at this kind of pick.
Yeah, they're both very, very comfortable with this at this point. Really settled into the map as you come down toward the ending. Nobody losing the stamina, nobody losing the speed. And for Zylice, that means a point on the board on his own first pick here by, it's going to end up being about 1%, which is quite strong. Just that one slip up, kind of 2/3 of the way through, but other than that, looked very clean on almost that entire pick. And again, very close in the score, but
Yeah,
that accuracy 1%, 1% in favor of Zylice and ties it up 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, this match would be incredible if it were played in terms of score.
I mean, that's still, those are still close
already. It's still been
right?
close
Like,
even with accuracy, but yeah, rare to see the match be this close in terms of score.
Also, real
Tony?
quick, do you want to shout out, we had another match just finish up a few minutes ago with Milk Tea taking down Arnold 6-0. That is, to
Whoa.
me, a pretty shocking result. I'm not entirely sure what happened there.
I agree, yeah.
Arnold did not get and Arnold had 1 A rank. Everything else was a B or a C rank, so clearly was just not there for that match. You know, whatever may have happened. So it's going to be Milk Tea advancing onward over in the losers bracket as we head into our third map back over here into one of the coolest maps in the pool.
Yeah, this one's a lot of fun. It is going to be S6 DT pick, and this one is going to be pretty heavy on the aim control. You've got quite a bit of slider aim as well that can definitely catch a few players out. I expect we're going to see a little bit lower accuracy on this one rather than the 99s, but Zylice is going to hold on to that 99 at least early on in this map.
This is a tricky one to keep the accuracy high. I think this has a really, really nuts score from, I believe, Arison on the leaderboards, and a really nice score from Mathy on the leaderboards, but I don't know if there's anybody else over 98, if that says anything about how tricky this one is to act with all the sliders and the cut streams.
Yeah, Zylice playing with Hidden as well, and it is going to be Zylice finding the first miss, but doesn't follow it up with too many 100s, so going to keep the accuracy pretty even, and should be a pretty inconsequential miss in the long run, but that's going to be a big drop miss as well as quite a few 100s, down to 97 now, and Chicony somehow staying above that 99 mark.
This is very impressive so far from Chicony on this pick. Does dip below that 99 with a couple hundreds in that section, but going to get into these cut streams. There's a drop. It's a break from Chicony. Burst and kick sliders. Oh boy.
Ending has a lot of potential for big accuracy drops though.
Yeah, especially with the 1/3, yeah.
But it's Zylice again, who's finding more 100s than Chicony, and so it is going to be that 1.5 accuracy difference going into the last 1/3 of this map.
Yeah, maybe Chicony just a little bit stronger on some of the less standard picks in this pool. You know, we saw what Zylice was capable of on the raw stamina, but on this slightly more techy pick, Chicony kind of flexing his muscle here. It's a 1.2% accuracy lead coming into the last quarter. Barring any big accuracy drops, he's going to be in a pretty good spot. And there's a big drop instead from Zylice, and that's really going to do it. That's 2%. That is almost uncomebackable at this point.
I think so. It would take a miracle at this point, and we should have a second point for Chicony. No breakpoints so far, and the Hidden, fortunately, not working out this time.
I don't know if Zylice felt like this was very dense or something, because it's only was aired in this is 10.3. I mean, it's not like it's dense. I'm not really sure. Maybe just better at reading it. But
I'd imagine it's a rating thing.
Yeah, 2.4%. That is a pretty sizable gap, and that is Chicony clearly more comfortable on that pick. So
yeah,
at the end of the day,
yeah, any Hidden you see in this tournament are purely comfort Hiddens. There's no score or accuracy advantage for taking them, inherently at least.
So we go over to next pick Zylice. After first picking the S1, I don't know, does he just go like S... I don't know, S15? S15? Oh, it's S4. Palette Gamma, there you go. Zoom.
Yeah.
Just 270 BPM speed.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to see Zylice just picking most of the raw speed maps. You've got the S4. After that, you've got something like the S13 as well, which is almost that 300 BPM raw speed. Could opt for that next. But I think we're going to see something similar to the previous raw speed map. The Zylice would look pretty consistent. Chicony, maybe a little bit less. This is a very, very short map, only 1 minute and 19 seconds.
Yes, there's a couple. There's S2, S4, S8, yeah. S13 and 14, all minute and a half or under. So yeah, what they lack in length, they make up for in just raw tapping requirement.
They certainly do.
This is a pretty well-known, I feel. Palette Gamma, I mean, you know, like people are just kind of familiar with this one. This is loved, I believe, right? Yeah, this has been loved for a while. The description of this is please double tap this, but if you are playing in ESSA, you are not going to be double tapping.
I don't think you can really afford to. His accuracies are basically dead even right now.
Yeah.
In fact, they are exactly the same.
Yeah, I was saying, then they're going to just stay dead even as long as nobody hits any sad hundreds in this slightly slower part here in the middle. For the ending third, and especially like the last quarter or so, is just absolutely brutal. There goes Zylice. That's a drop down, and meanwhile, it's Chicony holding comfortably, so he's going to be a percent. And oh my god, Zylice down to 96. Meanwhile, Chicony SS through that section is up to 99.4. That is big.
Into the ending, that we have some very long streams, and all it takes is to miss time one stream to drop enough 100s to reverse the outcome of this match. But 2% accuracy difference is massive. Both players dropping a little bit of accuracy, but it is a bigger drop for Zylice once again, and 96 to 99. What an incredible score from Chicony here.
Yeah, that's...
Chicony was a speed player.
That's a really, really solid score from Chicony, man. 99.17 AC, and holding... I mean, he only dropped a couple hundreds in that entire ending, which was the hardest part of the map by far. Zylice all the way down to 96. That did not go well for him. That was perhaps a bit of a mispick or just an underperformance. But Chicony now with the breakpoint, 3-1 the lead, his own pick to come, and he's going to hop straight into the S13 pick. So as we mentioned, maybe Zylice picking this one instead. It's going to be Chicony opting into the 300 BPM pick.
Yeah, another stamina pick, and I think I guess it'd be after that last pick, Chicony has a bit more confidence to pick into this kind of raw speed stamina tapping pick, but it's incredibly fast. I think that's the fastest map we've seen so far in this match, and so I'm curious to see if Chicony can keep up at the 300 BPM.
Yeah, this one is not as much about the raw stamina. I feel it's a lot of bursts and such because it's a lower difficulty, right? So it's not going to have the length of streams that you would see out of an upper difficulty. This one, you know, the another diff with DT. So it requires you to have obviously good speed at 300, but it doesn't require you to have quite the level of stamina of some of these maps. A little bit of finger control too. I mean, the kind of consecutive bursts and into doubles and things like that. So we'll see. It's early big act drops from Zylice again, dropping all the way down to 96. Meanwhile, Chicony's still holding just his first couple of 100s.
Yeah, it's air 10.5 as well, which makes the map play a lot faster than it actually is. Zylice once again taking the comfort hidden. We'll see if it pays off this time, but it is still continues to be a 2% accuracy difference between these two players. Still 2/3 of the map to go. Plenty of time for Zylice to make a comeback here. And is recovering very nicely. Has brought that back to about 1.5. So slowly gaining on Zylice here. But we need to see some big gains in the second half of this map.
And in we go. There is a...
Chicony misses and 50s down to 98, but still holds on to 0.5% of a lead.
Yeah, that's crazy that he had a big enough lead to be able to get away with that sort of big act drop with the misses. Like, normally that would be a death blow, but instead he's still ahead by 0.6% because Zylice just was a bit lower and dropped a couple hundreds of his own, I believe. And, well, into the ending we're going to go. This is going to determine it as we get into the most difficult part of this map. There goes Zylice, a couple of breaks. I don't know that this is going to be too easy for him to come back in as Chicony. Just that one pattern drop, and fine ever since then. And it's going to be a 1% win for him to defend the breakpoint, consolidate it for a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, had that one big drop, but otherwise had an incredibly consistent performance. Outside of that miss, it was 3 100s.
That's, I mean, if you didn't have that one slip up for Chicony, that would have been practically flawless.
I mean, yeah, it would have been like a 99.7.
Yeah, for some reason, Zylice has the point on the overall. I'm not sure what's up there. Hopefully that can get fixed, but it is 4-1 Chicony.
Yeah, it's looking like an S11 pick, I want to say.
Yeah, it does appear to be the S11, so Trinitarian Symphony. Talked about this one before as, you know, this is, again, just kind of a Nomad 5, a little bit of aim, a lot of just 250 BPM bursts and some longer streams as well. I feel like this is kind of that interplay between like a traditional Nomad 2 and Nomad 5, where it has some of the longer streams of a Nomad 2, but it also has the burst and the speed of a Nomad 5. So let's see how something a little more straightforward fares for Zylice, trying to get a point back here and avoid going down the double break points.
This is one of our longer maps, and I feel like in a lot of matches this would be a bit of a stamina test, but for these two players specifically, I don't know that stamina will be a big issue. They're so incredibly good at these faster picks, and once again, it's Zylice dropping the early accuracy, but how long this map is going to have a lot of time to recover, so a few early 100s shouldn't be super consequential, but every 100 does matter at the end of the day, and Chicony has not found the 100 quite yet. We'll see how long he can hold on to that accuracy.
I don't want to jinx it. You know, just let him be. Let him be over there. He is vibing. He is locked in. Ah, dang. There it is.
Man.
Still though, he's still gonna have the 1% accuracy lead. It's only 500 combo in though, so a lot of time. Zylice is gonna start building that back up to the 99-ish shortly here. A little bit more straightforward section, some free accuracy, just a little single taps and shorter streams.
Chicony though does find quite a few 100s on that, you know, slightly heavier aim control stream, and does fall behind Zylice in accuracy. So Zylice being presented with a really good chance here.
Yeah, Chicony kind of handed him this right with the 100s in the slightly slower section, but still only a third of the way in, and the accuracy pretty close. It's only a few 100s between them, so it is anyone's map for quite some time. There's another bunch of 100s from Chicony, though. He's almost going to end up being below 98 here shortly. Not what you want to see, as Zylice is continuing to build the act back up. 99.17 now. Doing quite well.
Chicony found a ton of accuracy drops on that stream. Zylice does trade quite a few of them back. Is going to even things out a little bit, but Chicony finds a miss and a 50 as well. Is going to be just over a 1% accuracy behind Zylice. And now Zylice has a really good chance to bring this one through and get a second point here in this match, make it 4-2, but there is still half the map to go. There's another long stream section that we have seen both players drop accuracy on. Needs to hold on through those. And it is Chicony once again finding a ton of 100s on that pattern, a couple misses as well. 2% behind, and it is looking great for Zylice.
Yeah, that 1/3 pattern was not kind to Chicony. Unfortunately, neither was that one. Both times tapping poorly and misaiming the 1/3 streams. Those flow patterns are quite difficult in the context of this map in general, and that is now a 4% accuracy lead for Zylice as he just continues to shred this one.
Yeah, the 1/3s are Chicony's demise on this one. It doesn't feel like any of the, you know, faster stream sections that are normally the hard part of the map are going to make much difference in this one.
This is a really solid play here from Zylice, though. 98.89 could potentially end up at or above 99 if he can SS the rest, which would be pretty sick. And I say that pretty seriously, too, because the accuracy was looking good, but there's the 100s drop, so it's not going to happen anymore. But it's going to be the win. It's going to be a comfortable pick for Zylice. And a very solid score. Chicony really just never in this pick. Always behind on the accuracy, and that 1/3 section was absolutely brutal for him. Zylice gonna put a second point on the board. Still feels like plenty of picks available for Chicony with that break point in his pocket. Not gonna be the end of the world to lose his opponent's pick here, but that is a very good score from Zylice. 98.6 AC and a, what, 2200 combo, 2400 combo, excuse me, FC, as you do.
Yeah.
As you do.
That's getting a point back in fashion. That's going to give some confidence back to Zylice, and Chicony is going to go very quickly into an S12 pick. This one is 285 BPM, pretty heavy on the finger control if I'm remembering correctly. There's quite a bit of snap aim or aim control patterns, you could say, as well. And there is a tricky 1/3 section that we might see some accuracy drops on as well if this last map was anything to go by.
This was Chicony's Protect though, right? So
yeah,
gotta figure he's quite confident in it. But yeah, this is you know, if you took the hidden off of the hidden one and added DT instead, kind of the vibe there, the finger control, double, triple, quint patterns, and then some slightly awkward, you know, kind of overlapping or slightly off overlapping aim patterns as well. So this is a little different than a lot of the picks we've seen thus far. See how it goes for Chicony. Like you said, the 1/3s after how they went in the last pick, hopefully they go better this time for his sake.
Yeah, I really like Chicony actually saving that protect until later on in the match. You know, had won quite a few straight points, even had the break point, but the second Zylice gets a point back, potentially looks to gain some momentum back. Chicony looks to put a stop to that at least, picking the protect, which at least in theory should be one of Chicony's strongest maps. And just good pick strategy, always nice to see. And we do see Zylice finding a 2% accuracy drop early on here.
And Zylice again with the prep mod hidden on, which is kind of wild to me on a pick like this, but you know, more power to him. He will try to build back up, but instead it's going to be the drop. Chicony dropped a couple hundreds, but still 98.6. It's a 1% accuracy lead through the 1/3 mark. And just looking pretty solid on these finger control, not dropping any hundreds on the repeated triples and a couple of other like stacked quad quint into single stuff. Like there's just awkward finger control patterns in this, and Chicony's hitting all of them comfortably.
But finds about 5 100s on the 1/3 section. Thankfully, Zylice was down by 2% accuracy, so it does decrease to about 1, but Zylice is going to find a miss and a ton of 100s on that section. Chicony, I believe, SS'd most of it, and so it's going to go back to almost 2% here. Really, so far, we've just been fluctuating between 1 and 2% accuracy advantages for Chicony. Find some 50s, but we're going to need a lot more. Finding a couple more 50s that could start to make a difference. We still have about half of the map to go.
Yeah, the act drops from Chicony are fortunately being matched by drops from Zylice as well for him. Zylice still staying down below 96.5. Drops a bunch of back in this section. Really tough right there at the end of that little guitar solo. Zylice all the way down to 95.5, and that is probably going to do it for this pick, even with a quarter of the map left to go. Chicony is looking so comfortable most of the way through that I don't anticipate him dropping much act in the ending to give away a 3% lead.
Yeah, falling apart a little bit at the end as Chicony staying at 98% of the map like this. Very, very impressive.
I had to say it.
I believe it's a full combo as well.
I think so. Which, well, let's see if we can make through the ending, because the ending is quite difficult. Not going to counter chickens when they hatch.
Too soon.
And he does it. Really nice stuff there from Chicony. That is a very impressive play. 97 AC FC from him. And Zylice was just never in that one, so the protect used wisely and executed on very well for Chicony. Takes the 5-2 lead, match points the rest of the way through for him. That was a brutal beatdown on that pick for Chicony.
Yes, it was. You know, count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, go for it. It's fine. That would be, boy, that's like... So rank 1 on this is 97.51 AC HDDTFC or HDHRFC. Just to put this in context. So that's like, let's see. Let's look at the DT leaderboard real quick here.
Is that number 1 global then?
It would be well, DT.
Oh, just DT.
DT only. Yeah, not having the hidden on.
Yeah.
Okay, my extension's not working here. That's very cool. Yeah, there is not a DTFC on the leaderboard. So wow. Congratulations to Tony.
But in the meantime, we got an S15 pick, Crimsonic Dimension.
Oh my!
This map is an absolute banger. It is very difficult. It's a rough finger control pick. I think there's, they said in the showcase, 22 sliders in the whole map.
So this map, this was in Corsair's Closed. I believe in the same round. I think it was in Corsair's Closed quarterfinals as well. And I think it got banned a whole bunch, picked like one time. And to use the way Miles described it, you keep tapping and tapping and tapping until you can't tap no more, and then you realize that there's still 1,000 combo left.
Yeah, this map is 3.5k combo in total.
It just keeps going and going and going. I want to say the only time we saw this was Decatur versus MCY4. Of all the matchups to have seen it on, it was like the only matchup between two non-speed players was the match where this map got played. And it went about as you would expect it to. So now we get to see players who are actually, very, very good at tapping and speed mechanics playing this, and you just get to watch these guys shred for 3k combo. This is like optimal shred conditions.
Yes, it is. I believe for the first quarter of this map, it's a little bit more heavy on the finger control, and then after that first quarter, it is tapping and tapping and tapping, as you said. It is, I think, 228 BPM, so slightly lower, thankfully, but it could certainly be a stamina test regardless, as we see both players dropping quite a bit of accuracy early on. Chicony does find a bigger accuracy drop, but is recovering quite nicely, getting back up to that 99 mark. Zylice stays above 99 for now. We do see Chicony drop quite a few 100s on that stream. Going to give Zylice a bit of a clear edge here.
Yeah, this is just the raw stamina player's paradise, and Zylice has looked very good on the stamina stuff so far in this match, to where his points have come from. And so far so good. I mean, we're 600 combo in out of 3k combo, so a ton of time to go, but the accuracy holding up so far, and we'll see how that works for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah. Most patterns very dense as well, right? There are some cuts that can be tricky, but the aim isn't too bad as long as you can follow the kind of sharp angles in some of these streams well.
Neither guy looking to have any trouble with the aim components of these streams.
Whoa,
but there's a bunch of hundreds from Chicony dropping down to 90, under 96, and just continuing to drop. Is he actually over streaming this?
Oh, looks like it.
Hard to tell. But Zylice, meanwhile, 99.3. He's just chilling, man. He's got a 4% accolade. Like he has nothing to worry about. This looks like a stream practice map because that's basically what it comes down to. At the end of the day, this is a stream practice map. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
You have to imagine, fingers are getting a little tired, but don't worry, we still have 2,000 combo left to go.
Yeah. Oh, Zylice with a break, so we will not get the big combo out of him. Normally, of course, breaking at the exact halfway mark would be terrible. Here, it just doesn't matter because he's still got a massive accuracy lead. And we've still got, 1,000 plus combo to go. Oh, Chicony. Oh, dear me. That was a bunch more 50s and 100s from him. Dare I say that this is pretty one-sided?
I think that would be a fair assessment at this point in the map. We still got, a third of the map to go, but it is all but over here as, Chicony does have the score lead, and I imagine we'll continue to have the score lead, but unfortunately in this tournament, that's not going to matter as Chicony finds a few more 100s to really get the point across, and Zylice is just such impressive consistency on this map.
Yeah, his just raw stamina is very, very impressive to watch. I mean, just not a blip. Holding that 99.3. Chicony continues to hold the combo, but the accuracy not there. Meanwhile, first 100 in a while there for Zylice. Man, this is crazy act. Like, I'm gonna go look at the leaderboard out of curiosity, but this act is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, most of the accuracy drops we saw from Zylice were at the start of the map on that finger control heavy section. Once you've got into, these just pure streams, we've seen very few 100s from Zylice. Finds one more there, but has actually recovered about, 0.3% accuracy into this really tricky stream section as we approach the end of the map, does find a few more, but what a performance here.
Yes.
Oh, Chicony.
Chicony. He is gone. He's had enough. Yeah, so Zylice, this accuracy is right up there, by the way. Just checking in on the leaderboard, because, I mean, obviously the map has been over for a while here. You've got, like, 99.45 and 4.43 from Din and Nineric, 99.43 from Ja, 99.55 from Mac, 99.49 from Woodchi. So Zylice in a tournament setting, mind you, going to be right up there with a lot of big top name speedy players on this pick, and that is a very good score from him. Still, though, needs to win another couple maps just to force a tiebreaker. That's going to need a break point here and then another pick of his own.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, down by 2, but it's just 1 break point, assuming you can win your own pick. It is Chicony with the next pick, though, so Chicony has the chance to put an end to this match right now, but needs to pick carefully because the picks are a little bit less clear. There are still kind of quite a few options left in the pool, but I don't feel like there are any obvious picks anymore. You have, S2 and S5 feels like they could go either way. S5 could be good for Chicony, just a little bit more slider tech heavy, which seems to have been good for Chicony so far.
Yo, hear me out. S10. Okay. Oh, no, it's S2.
S2, yes. So this is going to be finger control, a little bit of aim, and then second half feels, to me at least, a lot harder than the first half. It is very short as well, so this match could be over before we know it.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot here from Chicony. His finger control has been quite strong, and obviously he's been a little weaker on the raw stamina, so opting into the former rather than the latter with his own final pick. I like that option a lot. Pretty fast, 270 BPM. I think that's like tied for third highest BPM in the pool, or maybe fourth. Yeah. Either way, finger control looking good for him. See if he can close the match out here and avoid giving Zylice another pick by giving away a break.
They are 10.4. Zylice seems to really prefer the hidden on a lot of these higher AR picks. Just makes the map a little easier to read, I'm imagining. That helps a little bit with the map density on certain picks, but here we go. Both players off to a very, very strong start. Both players going to be trading 100s, but a bit of a bigger drop from Zylice. We're already quarter of the way into the map here as the accuracy not traded back by Chicony, and it's going to be 1% already.
Yep, Chicony just holding on to that early accuracy a little bit better. 9.79 to 99.16. Still half of the map, still the FC on both sides, so we could see this coming back if Chicony drops some accuracy and Zylice continues to hold strong. But if they just match like they're doing, oh boy. Well.
And Zylice, I mean, playing the map well, hitting the patterns, but just continues to find a couple of 100s here and there. Finds the 50, finds the drop. Chicony does trade the miss back. That's a lot of 50s from Chicony, but it's still 0.6. We need to see a bigger drop from Chicony into the ending. There is still time for Zylice to make the comeback, but Chicony nails the ending pattern, and I think that is going to be it for this one as Chicony looks to take it 6-3.
That's very well done by Chicony, just holding strong. Had a couple drops in that one, but managed to make it through comfortably enough. Zylice, despite, the S rank and everything, just not quite there AC-wise. Going with the pref mod hidden on almost all of Chicony's picks. Hard to say if that was for better or for worse. Didn't end up getting a single break point. And the only difference in this one was just that one earlier break point from Chicony on, I believe that was the second pick from Zylice. So very closely contested match between these two players, but in the end, Chicony takes it. That is a final 6-3 score, and he advances onward into winners semis. He'll be facing, I believe, the winner of the next match of the day, the winner of Window Life versus Aimbot Cone. So be sure to stick around to watch that one to see who Chicony ends up facing, but looks like he's going to match up well against darn near anyone in this tournament with a performance like that.
Yeah, I mean, following up last week's top tournament performance really, really nicely. We'll see where that puts him on the leaderboard for this week, but should be very strong, whoever he ends up facing next week. Zylice, of course, will drop to the losers bracket. We do still have quite a few matches to be played before we have any idea who the next opponent will be, because it has been one of the earlier matches of the weekend. But
I do think I would say I do think it's gonna be the winner of Milk Tea versus Korean Maluko, because Milk Tea already played Arnold and Taquito FF'd against Korean Maluko. So it is one of two players. He does have that much.
Yeah. That should be a good match as well. We do have another match at 18 UTC coming up for you guys. Window Life versus Aimbot Cone to find out who will be playing Chicony in the semifinals.
Yeah, that should be a very, very good one. I think those two feel pretty different in skill sets, right? So very interested to see some exciting picks in that one, and hopefully some more very good performances from two players who have looked quite good as well in this tournament so far. So I believe we are going to be going to a quick break. Maybe about 15 minutes from now. We'll see you back here for our next Winners Bracket quarterfinal. It's going to be us again, me, T1G, and iFlame joining me for that one as well. So grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever you need to do. Be back here in 15 minutes as ESSA Quarterfinals week continues onward right after this.
Is one you won't forget. It will get stuck in your head. If it does, then you can't blame me. Just like I said, too catchy. This song is one you won't forget. It will get stuck in your head. If it does, then you can't blame me. Just like I said, too catchy. Just like I said, 2 cat cheese. This song is one you won't
Hello everybody and welcome back to ESSA Quarterfinals. I hope you got your snacks, your popcorn, and your drinks because you won't want to go anywhere during our next match between Window Life and Aimbot Cone, Seed 2 versus Seed 7. I am iFlame, joined once again by T1G. I hope you've got your snacks, my friend.
I have a Celsius sparkling orange energy drink, and that is all I need for a speed cup match. Got my caffeine to match up with what we're going to be seeing in these pools and with these players. And I think this is going to be a good one, although I'm not sure if we actually currently have a match. So we are going to be in a slight little holding pattern here, it looks like, for just a minute or two while we get everything set up. I believe we may be missing a referee, I'm not sure.
Yes, we'll get that started, but we have had quite a few matches today, so we'll go over some of the results that haven't been streamed for those of you who missed it. I believe we started out today, Amocetic beating Plox 6-4. We had Arnold dropping 6-0 to, I believe that is Milk Tea, and then Riot just now beat a colleague that is 6-4, very nearly 1-2 tiebreaker, but Riot made the comeback in the end. And then much earlier today, we had Din beating AKenZX 6-3 as well.
That's an impressive win for Din as well, from 3-1 down, won 5 maps in a row. Really shut the door on AKNZX in that one, so bit of a shame for the Aussie, but it'll be Din advancing onward from that particular matchup. I believe that sets him up for a match against Riot. Very interested to see how those go. We've had some pretty good matches, we've had some pretty good performances so far.
We have, yeah. And of course, the other match from earlier today that we just streamed that I didn't mention yet was the Chicony versus Zylice match that Chicony did take 6-3. And we do have a ref for the match, so we're going to take a second to make the lobby and get into it. But let's talk about these two players a little bit. Aimbot Cone had a very strong round of 32, especially, putting up some very impressive scores. And even in round of 16, had a performed a little bit worse overall, but still had some very strong scores. Was first place on the the S1 as well as the S2. Was second and third on a couple of other maps. I believe it was the S4 and the S6 second place, and then S9 got third place. And that's really all you need, right? You don't need to be good at every single map. You just need those, 5 maps that you can be better than your opponent on to get you through to that tiebreaker. Window Life, though, has been on an absolute tear this tournament. Second place in qualifiers, looked fantastic, round of 32 and round of 16, has been putting up just some absurd scores this tournament.
Yeah, Window Life, one of those players, I think a lot of people, especially if you're from the USA or follow the American scene, have been kind of keeping an eye on for the past year or so.
Yeah.
Has really shown some solid results. And a tournament like this, of course, suits him very well. Very strong tapping player, very good at speed. I think very good at, kind of the techie speed picks as well. So perhaps some options opened up to him that aren't opened up to quite everyone in this type of tournament. A lot of the players, I don't want to call them one-dimensional because they're very, very good, but, a lot of players lean more into the raw stamina, raw speed, and anything that requires aim or tech skill sets is generally, kind of a distant second in terms of their priority. But for Window Life, I think he is a guy who can opt directly into some of those maps in a lot of cases. So very interested to see what that ends up looking like, if that ends up informing the protects and bans and picks in this particular matchup against Aimbot Cone, who, as you mentioned, very, very strong on some of those more basic, super stamina and flow aim heavy maps like last week's S1, for instance.
Yep. Aimbot Cone going to opt for a second ban, which should be second protect as well. Pretty standard, which means Window Life is going to look for our first protect. And, quite a few options. Is going to go for that S7. It's going to be a bit of a heavier aim control map. And I gotta give credit where credit is due to NG. I know you mentioned before we were talking before we started the stream that you were looking at something like S7 for Window Life, so very good shout there. Aimbot Cone has the next protect, and we're expecting maybe a bit more of a one of these stamina focus picks. You're looking at things like the S4 that's very fast, the S1, potentially even something like the S13, but we will wait and see. And there it is.
S4 indeed. So well predicted there. Palette Gamma, Aimbot Cone saying, I will just take the raw speed for my own. Thank you very much. Really would like to see, for instance, something like S5, S6, S7, S10 as well. I know I keep harping about that particular one, but I would love to see someone opt into that. It's going to be the S8 as the first band for Window Life, so that is Nostalgic Blood of the Strife. That's 300 and a lot BPM. Was it 360?
Yeah, 360.
So the fastest map of the pool is going to be removed. And there goes the S10.
Yeah, it didn't seem like Aimbot Cone really wanted to play the S8 anyways. Which is not super surprising. It is the 360 with AR 10.3 makes the map feel incredibly quick. We see a Window Life banning out the S13, one of those very, very, kind of heavy raw speed maps, which makes a lot of sense. And our final ban is going to be S3, which is going to be our Denatory map, more kind of consistency focused speed pick, and it will be Aimbot Cone with the first pick. It does have the protect of the S4. We do see a lot of players opt to use their protects right away because it's often their best map, but personally I like to see them save those for later on in this match if they want to get some momentum back. So I'd like to see something like an S1 as well, but he's going to go for an S12 actually. It's going to be a little bit of a heavier finger control pick with quite a bit of snap aim in there as well. So not necessarily what at least I was expecting from early picks from Aimbot Cone.
Yeah, I would have anticipated this one maybe a little bit later on into this match, much the same way we saw it a little bit later on into our previous Chicony versus Zylice match, where Chicony, of course, did FC this pick. The finger control and kind of slightly awkward aim components of this, not necessarily where I would be most comfortable starting off a match, but Aimbot Cone clearly feeling otherwise, and says, no, we will take this as our first pick, and we'll see how it goes. Window Life, I feel generally good at finger control stuff, but we'll have to play it out and see how it goes. Your first pick of the match often can set the tone a little bit for how it's going to go. So if this one is a battle between these two guys, we could be in for a real dogfight of a match, but you know, if one or the other has a strong advantage on this, it kind of opens up avenues for later picks going forward. So away we go, and we'll find out quickly how comfortable the players feel on a very finger control heavy pick.
Yeah, I mean, right now the difference is Aimbot Cone finding that 150 earlier in the map. Otherwise, both players trading pretty evenly, and Window Life does actually drop a couple 100s on the 1/3, but Aimbot Cone, I believe that was another slider break, is going to give Window Life the lead by about 0.5, finding yet another drop.
Yeah, this isn't starting off great here for Aimbot Cone, especially not on his own first pick. Down 0.9 almost % accuracy. Does recover a little bit, but it's going to be the early advantage for Window Life to start things off. There are plenty of places you can drop accuracy, whether it's on the 1/3 patterning, or whether it's on that very tricky kind of solo section about 2/3 to 2¾ of the way through. But for now, even with that drop, Window Life is going to remain in the lead by a small margin. But there's a couple more breaks, and that's going to give it right back on over to Aimbot Cone as it is now dead even.
98.69 on both sides. And we are in for an incredible match. Every single 100 matters into the second half of this map. We've seen Window Life finding 2 more. That's going to give the advantage over to Aimbot Cone, but it is still anyone's game, and there are still some very tricky patterns left. Both players hitting the 1/3. Window Life, a big miss. It is going to be 0.4 for Aimbot Cone, but does need to hold on to that accuracy into this ending. This map is far from over. This is one of the harder parts of the map, and both players holding very strong. Aimbot Cone finds 1 100, but it's not going to be quite enough. Needs another 4 or 5 100s.
That was some shred there from Aimbot Cone in that section, just dropping a single 100 through that entire solo, but there's a couple more. Oh, it's a big break from Window Life, though. The 100s and the miss, dropping him all the way down below 98% accuracy, and that is all the advantage that Aimbot Cone will likely need coming down to the ending here. It is a very strong opening performance when all is said and done for Aimbot Cone. Just a little bit of time left, but he's got over a 1% accuracy lead.
Yeah, first pick working out very, very nicely for Aimbot Cone. And does hold on to that protect as well. Still has that as an option later, which I am a big fan of. It will be Window Life with the next pick, and we'll see if he does want to go for some of those more technical maps.
Yeah, that was... this one didn't, I feel, give too much away either direction, right? It's 1%, it's a decent number of hundreds, but it was both players doing pretty well on an Aimbot Cone, just, the one section kind of stronger. So we'll see if they learn from this, if they take anything away from it. But now you've got pick to Window Life, S5, S6, S7, all there for him if he wants to go one of those options.
So for those of you who are not familiar with the Protect system, you get to protect one map at the start of the match before bans. That map cannot be banned out, and lets you pick the map whenever you like. Now, there are no other rules about the protects. If you don't want to, you don't actually have to pick your protect. Your opponent could also pick your protect if they want to. Both of those things would just be bad pick strategy, but I've seen it happen a couple times. So you're free to do.
That's like the ultimate.
That's pretty beyond.
Imagine first picking your opponent's protect, dude. Holy, that's like the most BM thing you could possibly do.
Absolutely is. Don't give them too many ideas.
Yeah, S9 first pick here for Window Life. We did not see this one in the previous match. This is a very interesting sort of map. It's over 3 minutes long. CS 5.4. Most notably, I would say AR 10 or not AR OD 10.4. While only air quotes only being 236 BPM. One of the slower maps in the pool. As weird as that feels to say. So this is a really, really difficult accuracy check. If you look at the leaderboards to this, not a lot of players with very good accuracy. Because that OD is so incredibly high, and of course the aim just a bit more challenging with those smaller circles. So this is a different kind of pick than a lot of the other maps in this pool. It stands out, and I think it's fairly unique, and it's a pretty cool pick to see especially early on in a matchup like this.
Yeah. And we're already getting into some of the longer streams. There's a little bit more, I believe, mirror control focus towards the start, but I mean, once you get to, a third of the map, it gets into an incredibly long stream that is a massive accuracy test. But there goes Window Life with big misses. Aimbot Cone finding quite a few of his own, but is going to hold on to, no, never mind, actually drops quite a number of 100s there, and so it's Window Life taking back over the accuracy advantage, and it's going to be pretty even as both players continue to find 100s on these mirror control sections. We'll see if anybody finds massive drops into this stream, or longer stream, that's should be coming up in about 10-15 seconds or so.
Yeah, this is just not a map where you get good ac. I mean, good ac on this map is like 94%. I think the best DT accuracy on this is, to nobody's surprise, Erison, who has a 95.98, which is absolutely ridiculous. That dude's accuracy on stuff like this is unparalleled. So, if that's the best accuracy on the leaderboard, you can kind of imagine what most players, even top tapping players like those in this tournament, are going to be getting. And you see just the drops, the accuracy dropping here and there and everywhere else, and both these players just trying to hang on to their accuracy as the streams get longer and longer. That's a big drop for Window Life, dropping all the way down below 94. Aimbot Cone, though, not really able to take full advantage as he drops some accuracy himself, but still 1.5% accuracy lead for Aimbot Cone here into the second half.
Yeah, and the second half of this map, TNG, it does not get any easier. It is very sharp angles, very dense, never-ending streams, and somehow, on that long stream, Aimbot Cone found isolated misses during the streams with no other follow-up misses or accuracy drops, which, honestly, I don't know how he managed that, but does hold on to the 1.5% accuracy lead. There's a big chain miss of, chain 100s, I should say, so we'll drop that 200, but here we go into the second stream section of the map, and these streams do not give you any break whatsoever. They kind of just go until the end of the map. There's a big drop from Aimbot Cone, falls behind a little bit in the accuracy, but Window Life trades it right back. That is a bigger miss, and Aimbot Cone is off to the races here. Needs to hold on a little bit longer, but the streams aren't over quite yet. Is finding more 100s consistently, letting Window Life potentially back into it, but is going to need a few more. Window Life needs to hold, but trades the 100s right back. There's no big misses from either players.
This is staying about level here at this 0.5-0.6% accuracy difference. Aimbot Cone with another little break, but Window Life dropping the 100s here and there, drops several as well as some 50s. And that might be enough for Aimbot Cone. Hold on, it's a traded big break for both players, but still the 1% accuracy in Aimbot Cone's favor. All he has to do is survive until the ending here with that 1% accuracy lead. And it is going to be an early break point here for Aimbot Cone, the German player, succeeding on Window Life's first pick. I feel, a little bit of a mispick perhaps going into something like that feels a little bit more up in the air. But well done to Aimbot Cone for just managing to hold on where he could and keep that accuracy lead by the slimmest of margins. It's really just that 50 count. 20 50s for Window Life versus 9 for Aimbot Cone. I mean, that can be the make or break.
Yeah, the actual 100s, like you called out, pretty even there between the two players, and potentially a bit of a low roll score for Window Life is my guess, especially if you're opting into that as a first pick. So had pretty good combo throughout the map, but just too many chain 100s would find one, and then a ton more 100s, whereas Aimbot Cone more frequently had the occasional, 100s here and there, rather than these massive chain accuracy drops. It does have the next pick as well. Has a chance to put this match to 3-0 early on against a player like Window Life. Would be really massive for Aimbot Cone. Is going to opt into S2. This is going to be very, very short. I think finger control focus map at 270 BPM. There is some aim to it as well that you have to watch out for. But this map, I think, really picks up in the second half. And so we're going to see some bigger accuracy drops there, more so than in the first half of the map. Well, generally speaking, at least. You never know what can happen in these matches.
Yeah, like we said before, you just never want to count your chickens before they hatch. When accuracy is the win con, it's just so dangerous. But I think this is a very contested feeling type of pick for these two. Both good at the bursty finger control type of DP, generally speaking. So I think this one should be a fight. The early accuracy dead even. No hundreds on the board yet through 800 combined combo.
Yeah, doesn't get much better than that. As into the first break, halfway through the map, both players still holding the SS, but we're into the second half of the map. This one is much harder than the start. We are certainly going to see some 100s. First one there from Aimbot Cone, finding a couple more to follow it up. Window Life finds a lot of chain misses. Is going to fall quite a bit behind Aimbot Cone here, who only has found 100 so far, but Aimbot Cone still has a lot of time to find chain misses into some of these ending patterns. We'll see if he can hold both players trading 100s on that last burst. Aimbot Cone finds a miss, but it's just the 150. That's not going to be nearly enough, and Window Life is running out of time quickly. Aimbot Cone needs to find something massive. It's a slider break and a couple 100s, but not the chain miss required, and Aimbot Cone up by 3 against the second seed.
Aimbot Cone just going off in these maps, man. Those are some very good performances. Just 100 shy of a 99 AC on that pick. Very, very impressive stuff. Yeah, it consolidates the breakpoint for that 3-0, as you said. And, you know, in a best of 11, he's already halfway home. So Window Life going to have to stabilize, and now he's going to have to find a breakpoint on... you know, he's potentially not going to get that many opportunities to do it, so it's got to be sooner rather than later. But first things first for Window Life, what's your pick now? Down the early break point, got to find something that works for you here, and it's going to be the S7, so he is going to opt into his Protect here, maybe a little earlier on than you sometimes might. It feels like those often get saved for the second half of the match, but this is the break glass in case of emergency Protect here when you're down 3-0 quickly like he is.
Yeah, I think this is the right time to use it. You know, you can't afford to go down 4-0. I think, not necessarily from a map standpoint, but just from a mental standpoint, going down 4-0 in a best of 11 is so devastating that you really have to win this pick. And so now is the right time to opt into that. And we'll see what kind of a score Window Life can put up here. Has just been finding a couple chain misses that have been costing him the accuracy in these early maps. So hopefully we can see a little bit more consistency on this map. But as a reminder, this S7 is going to be pretty aim control heavy. The streams are fairly dense for the most part, but can be pretty awkward as well in terms of the aim requirement. It is going to be a hard rock pick. I believe it's OD10, so it can be pretty tricky to act as well. But we did see some pretty high accuracies in our last match from Zylice and Chicony, and once again, it's going to be Window Life with the early accuracy dropped. Aimbot Cone looking very, very good so far. Has not found that 100 quite yet, whereas Window Life continues to find a 100 here and there. Thankfully, hasn't found any big drops, so is very, very recoverable. But we need to see something from Aimbot Cone.
Yeah, you're not going to lose if you don't drop any 100s. This is pretty remarkable. There it goes. Drops from an SS down to 98.4, just like that. And now it's Window Life with the advantage. The first 500 combo, you know, we were thinking things about Aimbot Cone's performance, but all of a sudden flips right on back the other way. We'll see if Window Life can hang on to this accuracy lead as we're nearing the halfway mark, and he is up by about 0.7%, which is all it ever needs. But man, on a map like this, you know, you can just find one pattern worth of a couple hundreds, and that act line can flip-flop in a darn hurry.
That's exactly it. The second half of this map, the streams get incredibly awkward, and as you said, it could be very easy to chain miss an entire pattern. That's what it's going to come down to. Window Life does find 4 100s, but Aimbot Cone trades a couple back, so will hold onto that accuracy lead by about 0.4, but it is incredibly close, and you know, generally dropping 100s here and there is going to be okay. Aimbot Cone finding 2 misses there. That's going to hurt a lot. It's now about a 0.7 for accuracy lead for Window Life. Still holding on to the full combo. There's a miss. No full combo, but thankfully combo isn't going to matter. Just the one miss in isolation, not a chain miss. And so we'll hold on to the advantage, but the ending is going to be the big question.
Yeah, it's going to be... You know, there's enough time left for Aimbot Cone to bring this back, but it's going to require Window Life to suffer some accuracy drops or some misses in the last couple of longer streams, and there's a few of those hundreds to start it off. Aimbot Cone dropped a couple of his own, but that lead is shrinking a little bit. It's down to 0.3. See if Window Life can stabilize another couple
more.
hundreds. Every 100 makes this closer and closer, but Aimbot Cone dropping a couple to equalize it out on his own. And that is going to be Window Life escaping this one by a very, very small margin, 0.33% AC. That was a super close fight between these two on that pick, but Window Life does end up winning his Protect, gets his first point on the board.
Yep, ultimately, Window Life is going to be happy. Doesn't matter how much you win by at the end of the day, just matters that you get the point. And so Window Life starting to get back into this match, looking to have an angle. And notably this time around, didn't find the chain misses at any point in the map. Looked a lot more consistent, whereas Aimbot Cone had a few big drops, but does have the next pick. Doesn't want to give the momentum back to Window Life. And it is going to be the S6. I was actually wondering if Aimbot Cone would use their own Protect to kind of stop Window Life from any chance of getting an angle back into this match, but it is going to be the S6 instead. This is going to be another aim control focused map. Very curious. This is one that I think we thought might be a good pick for Window Life. So let's be surprised to see Aimbot Cone picking it instead.
Yeah, this kind of heck DT pick really felt like it would be a likely option for Window Life, who's generally speaking a quite solid tech player. But who knows? Aimbot Cone has something up his sleeve here, perhaps, with this pick. And we're gonna go the act. Pretty tricky on this one. 1/3 patterns, all the kick sliders and stuff as well can be very difficult to hold on to high accuracy. So we'll see who is more comfortable with the map. And it starts off with Window Life at the very beginning, taking a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, this is a relatively short map at 2 minutes 30, but there aren't any crazy difficulty spikes or any, there's not one specific pattern that is going to tear players' accuracy apart. It's just very easy to find, 100s here and there all over the place on all the different slider aim patterns and slider tech patterns that you have. And here we go into the first KI. This is where we get into a harder section of the map, and this is where we're going to start to see some big accuracy drops. But it's pretty even. Window Life does find a miss and a 50. Going to be about 0.4 behind Aimbot Cone, who looks really solid, but finds a miss of his own, trading that back. And it is going to be very, very close between these two until Window Life finding a big drop. That's going to hurt the accuracy, now down by 2%.
Yeah, that was a brutal one. Oh, and a full 50 and misses on a burst there as well, down below 97. Absolutely not what you would ever want if you are Window Life here. That was a very, very bad big drop. Aimbot Cone does drop a 50, but still over 99. It's a lot of work for Window Life now. It feels like he just has to assess like the rest of the map and hope for the best out of his opponent, because otherwise this is going to be over in a hurry. Aimbot Cone does drop below 99, but Window Life all the way down at the bare edges of 97 means this is an uphill battle.
The Aimbot Cone just looks so comfortable on this map, has been incredibly consistent so far. Outside of the, one miss, one slider break, has been doing a really good job of keeping the accuracy up. And Window Life, while he has been recovering accuracy very nicely since that big drop, all it takes is one big drop to end the map for you. If it's not traded back by your opponent, you do have a quarter of the map to go, but so far that big drop has not been traded back, and it's looking like it may not be.
Yeah, Aimbot Cone is looking really good on this pick. I know the ending of it gets very difficult with these cut streams and kick sliders, but he is making it through like it's child's play here. Barely, just finally drops 2 100s in the start section until the very end. Really well done from Aimbot Cone to keep the AC up so high through that portion. Though Window Life kept the combo alive for a bit longer, Aimbot Cone kept the accuracy up. And this is going to be a very solid play right at the 99 mark. Let's see if he can hold on into the last moments. No, the 100 at the end. Unfortunately, once more, falls 1/100 short of 99 AC. But nonetheless, 98.98. Very good stuff from Aimbot Cone there to win it by 1% over a surging Window Life who really worked to bring that back near the end, but just couldn't quite make it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give so much credit to Aimbot Cone here. Coming into this match, I think it's fair to say most people would have predicted, Window Life to take this one. Has looked so strong all tournament, but now on the back foot, desperately needs to win this next pick. I don't think you can afford to give up another break point for the rest of this match, and is going to need to find a win on one of Aimbot Cone's picks at some point here.
Yeah, and once again, it's the question of where do you go for your own pick first? Use the Protect and won it for his first point on the board. Now it's going to be something different. I mean, what out there is maybe similar to the S7? I don't really know. I suppose you could say maybe the S11. It's going to be the S15. Okay, so we're going to get Crimsonic Dimension. So it's just raw 228 BPM stamina. The very lengthy pick here coming out once more. Tap and tap and tap and tap and keep tapping.
Yeah, 3.5 thousand combo. This map is very draining on the stamina. It's very easy to find chain misses, and this is the kind of map where a chain miss isn't necessarily 4-100. It's very easy for a chain accuracy drop to turn into 20 or 25 even hundreds on a pattern. And I expect we're just going to see more accuracy drops as this one goes on. It just does not let up whatsoever.
We saw the strength of stamina from Zylice on this last match, going up, 99.36 AC, I believe, finished that right around there.
Yeah, that feels more the exception, more so than what we're expecting from most players.
That's setting a very high standard, but we have seen what Aimbot Cone is capable of on some of these stamina picks. Gate Openers last week comes to mind, which is just, a pretty raw stamina-heavy pick, but so far it's Window Life out to the early lead here by 1.5%. So, I feel like nothing means anything in a 3.5k combo map. It just doesn't matter until you get to, the last 1,000 combo, because until then, it's just okay, well, there's still a lot of combo left and a lot of time left.
Yeah, especially at the start of this map, it is, especially after this first kind of set of long streams, pretty heavy on the finger control. This is where we actually saw Zylice lose most of his accuracy on the last map and then absolutely nailed the rest of the tapping, but I do expect to see some accuracy drops on this more finger control heavy section, but once that's over, the rest of the map is just, as you said, tapping, and more tapping, and that's where the real test comes through, with both players looking incredibly consistent so far, and it is about that quarter mark of the map where the finger control ceases and the tapping nightmare, I guess you might say, begins.
It's a dream for some, it's a nightmare for others. We saw what happened to Chicony by the end. He kind of gave up on this pick. A couple hundreds dropped from Aimbot Cone. Window Life had dropped a couple before, but still maintains a decently comfortable lead. Once you get, 1,500 combo, 0.6% is actually a little more meaningful than earlier on. A little bit of flow aim component. These streams kind of do come back on themselves a little bit, so you got to watch out for that. Make sure the aim stays comfortable and you don't just autopilot your way straight through the entire thing. And for now, it's 0.4% accuracy lead for Window Life. Double FC for the players, though. And roughly halfway through, we're already at 1,700 combo, to just give you an idea of how done this is.
Yeah, Window Life found a pretty big drop there, and it is going to even things up. Not only going to be behind by 0.2, though, so not going to be the end of the world. This Aimbot Cone did drop a little bit of accuracy as well to keep things close, but so far, it is a little bit more worrying for Window Life. This is the point of the map where stamina is really going to start to become a factor, and it's a lot easier to just miss time at the middle of a stream even. I think we saw Chicony overstreaming this one earlier today.
Yeah, it's only 228 BPM. I mean, when you're playing stuff that's like 250 to 270, this probably feels pretty slow. I mean, I can't speak to that myself. I do not have a functional bucket, but I think if you're this solid at the higher BPMs, this probably feels like finger control even on the streams, just because they're slower than what you might be comfortable with. Aimbot Cone, though, man, started off a little slowly, but he's back up to 99.25 and just shredding.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw with Zylice earlier.
Yep.
Oh. We might have spoke too soon, as that is 4 misses and a 50. Still does hold on to the accuracy lead, though. The thing with a map with this much combo is that every individual accuracy drop matters a lot less for your overall accuracy because of just how many notes there are in this map. And so each individual 100 isn't going to matter too much on its own, but they certainly do add up. And it is 0.1 accuracy difference. This one is still anyone's game going into the ending, but Window Life finds a big accuracy drop there.
That was brutal for Window Life, man. With it being 0.1%, it was anybody's game. All of a sudden, it's going to be Aimbot Cone holding about a 0.2% accuracy lead. That, which, 0.1% ac when it's, there's many circles as there are in this map, but there's a bunch of hundreds for Aimbot Cone as well. There might just be enough time. It's 99 to 98.95. Hang on just a second. Every 100 counts coming into this ending. Can they both hold on to the SSing the last couple hundred combo, though? It quiets down, it calms down, and there's a drop from Window Life, and that's going to do it right at the end. He might have had the opportunity, but Aimbot Cone locked in at the very, very end when he needed to. And that is going to be point Aimbot Cone's second break point by what ends up looking a lot worse than it actually was, obviously. That was really a 0.1, 0.2% accuracy difference in the time when they were playing seriously, which is insane.
Yeah, it felt like Aimbot Cone let up for just a second, let Window Life get within 0.04 accuracy difference, and then proceeded to SS the ending, not giving Window Life any chance back into that one. And now Aimbot Cone is at match point. We are on the verge of a pretty big upset here. And it is Aimbot Cone's pick. That was a second break point from Aimbot Cone. And what do you pick to close this one out if your Aimbot Cone has looked really good on the stamina, but has even looked solid on some of those more technical picks? Do we ever see something like the S13?
No, we just
or that's
S1.
been banned out.
We just S1, I guess.
Just S1.
It's just,
it is raw speed.
It's just stamina, yeah.
Yeah, unsurprising. I think between S4, S1, S13, those are all going to be potential picks for Aimbot Cone. One of those retracted, one of those banned by Window Life, leaving just the S1 open as that kind of last remaining stamina or raw speed map. And this one's going to be 322 in terms of length, 248 BPM.
I like this pick form. I think the way this has been going, I think this makes a lot of sense. Kind of said, like the aspects of this map that make it what it is just work really well for Aimbot Cone, right? I mean, it feels like there's not a lot more to be said about it than that, based on what we just saw. For instance, on Crimsonic Dimension, like it just looks like a very comfortable player with the kind of stamina, more straightforward skill set. Uphill battle for Window Life. Would have to win 4 points in a row to force a tiebreaker, and then the tiebreaker as well. So the number 2 seed in serious jeopardy here of falling to loser's bracket, but you really got to give a lot of credit to Aimbot Cone for getting to this point in the match in the first place. Like, has been playing very well to take this 5-1 lead.
Yeah, it's been such impressive scores from Aimbot Cone all match long, and so far we are dead even on this S1. There's a couple 100 from Aimbot Cone, so this time around it is going to be Window Life who's off to the early advantage, but we really need to see if Window Life can hold on to this advantage. It is going to be about 0.5 for now. There's a lot of map to be played. The map does get a little bit harder towards the second half, especially as the map goes on. Starts to get a little bit more draining, fairly stamina intensive as well. Only one Window Life from 100 is going to be relatively inconsequential, but here we go into the first guy of the map. And this is where we have a lot of potential for big chain accuracy drops, but both players looking really, really solid so far.
And this is kind of how a lot of our last map went as well, where they were just both very comfortable through large chunks of it, keeping things very close. But somebody maybe just opens up a little bit of a lead and clings to it. Could be the script here again, as it is literally, what, 2 or 3 100s apart, I think is all. It's 0.2% ac, not even. Like, every 100 you can see the accuracy shifting closer and closer. Right now, man, 99.5, 99.42. Yeah, I mean, it's about as close as you can be. There's a big 100 drop. I know it's like 600s, but it's a big 100 drop from Window Life, because that does give the lead over to Aimbot Cone.
6 100s is all it takes in a match like this, but it is still anybody's game. There is still half the map to go. And the second half of this map is very, very streamy. There's one more 100 from Window Life, and here we go into the second half.
This is nuts stuff from these guys. They're keeping that accuracy up so high, so comfortable with this BPM and this flow style and the length of these streams. Just the rare 100 here and there. A couple from Aimbot does give the lead over to Window Life. Like, 2 100s can actually matter, which is crazy to say, but here we are. 1 100 from Window Life makes it dead even. We are precisely evenly matched at 99.41 AC on both sides, heading into the last quarter of the map at match point.
Does not get any closer than this. Surely we don't see any 100s on the slow section. That would be unfortunate.
We saw one from Aimbot.
We just did. And Window Life, if he can nail the ending of this map, has a chance to keep himself in this one. Finds 2 100s though, is now going to fall behind Aimbot Cone. There is nothing traded back, and that's a massive chain accuracy drop from Window Life. Things are looking dire. Aimbot Cone still SSing this ending. He is just so consistent today. And with no drops from Aimbot Cone, this might be the end.
Oh my goodness, unbelievable stuff from Aimbot Cone, coming up huge in the clutch once more. But no, it's a huge drop! He just missed like, what, 4 or 5 notes in a row, but it is not going to be enough. It is not looking like it's going to be enough, just the last notes in the ending to come, despite all those misses. Another field, wait a second! Oh no, my god, 99.09 to 99.07. It's a 0.02%. But that is all it takes, and Aimbot Cone is somehow going to escape with it. What?
It was looking so good for Aimbot Cone, and he dropped 4 100s after that spinner out of 6 notes. Brought it from 0.4 to 0.02. But in the end, once again, the accuracy difference does not matter. The point is on the board, and Aimbot Cone has secured himself a very impressive win. That is going to be Window Life, the second seed in ESSA, knocked down to losers bracket in the quarterfinals.
Wow. And you got to just give all the credit in the world to Aimbot Cone. I mean, despite it being a 6-1, that was such a closely fought match. Aimbot Cone just came up a little more clutch here and there and just got the points by the smallest of margins. I mean, 0.02%. Jeez. Shout out to Aimbot Cone. Well done to him. That'll give him the matchup in semis against Chicony. And one spot remains in semifinals as Curtis took down Welter a little bit ago as well. So it's going to be Nineric versus Tomas Schick as the final quarterfinal. That one doesn't come until Monday, so we got some time until that one. But got one semifinal set. In the losers, it's going to be Window Life dropping down. He will face off against
one of Gonza, Trumpetino, or I believe Plox, who won the earlier match.
Gonza and Trumpetino
no, sorry,
are
it was
names
that, who won the earlier match.
I feel like Gonza and Trumpetino are names that feel a little out of place in the speed pantheon among some of these other names. So good on them for remaining alive to this point. But we'll see what happens going forward for those guys. Man, oh man. Aimbot Cone Window Life. Despite being a 6-1, I would say this lived up to the hype just based on the scores that they set and how close some of these maps were.
I think so, yeah. The scoreboard is a little bit deceptive. Most of the accuracies were incredibly close. I don't think we may have seen one map that was 2% accuracy difference, but otherwise they were mostly around 0.5% difference on quite a few maps, and 0.02% difference on some of them. With that said, our next match, I believe, is going to be later today at 21 UTC. That's going to be between Gonza and Trumpetino. So winner of that match is going to face Anesthetic, and the winner of that will now be facing Window Life. So a bit of a rough bracket for the winner of that kind of portion of the tournament.
Yeah, this tournament gets just absolutely brutal. These pools are getting insane, and the players remaining are unreal. So very excited to see how things proceed going forward. I don't know if we have streamers, commentators for the 21 UPC match, so we'll be playing that one a little bit by ear. But I think that does do it for us. The back-to-back quarterfinals matches were very exciting. I hope everybody enjoyed them. Yeah, that's about all I got. iFlame, any last thoughts?
Certainly is all for us. Once again, huge congratulations to Aimbot Cone on the win. Thank you, Flapjack, for the stream. T1G for joining me today in the commentator booth. I have been iFlame. I hope you all enjoyed watching. See you guys and take care.